Hey guys, I'm Amit Kumar and welcome to this video in which we are going to talk about some example programs on dates and math classes. Example program 1. Create a class with a method that accepts 3 integer parameters, day, month and year. Create a date instance with the parameters. In case it's a leap year, then create a new date that will be 6 months after the past date. Otherwise, the new date will be 6 years from the past date. Print both the dates. So here we have to create a class in which the method will accept 3 integer parameters, day, month and year. We have to create a date instance with the parameters. In case it's a leap year, then create a new date that will be 6 months after the past date. Otherwise, the new date will be 6 years from the past date. And finally, we have to print both the dates. So let's create the program. So this is the class for that specific example program. Here you can see we have created a calculate method, and this method is accepting 3 integer parameters as day, month and year. And with those parameters, we created a new instance of the date and named that variable as input date. We created a new date as well. Now this new date is going to be 6 months ahead from the input date if the year that we have passed is a leap year. Otherwise, it will be 6 years ahead. So here you can see we are using a isLeapYear method of the date class. So we are calling it as date.isLeapYear and passing the year parameter to it. And if this method is going to return true, definitely the year is leap year. So if the year is leap year, you can see we are adding 6 months to it by using the add months method. Now this method is going to add 6 months to the input date and will return a new date which we are holding in the new date variable. And in case when the isLeapYear method is going to return false, we are adding years by using add years method, and we are adding 6 years to it, and that will be the new date. And then finally we are printing the input date and the new date. So let's quickly run this program. So here we will call the calculate method and will pass day, month and year to it. So let's suppose 26 is the day, month is February and year we are passing is 2020, and let's click on execute. So you can see as the past date is of a leap year, and you can see what happens here. We are adding 6 months to it, and hence the new date is 6 months ahead of it. Now let's run it one more time, and this time we won't pass a leap year. So let's pass 2022 and let's click on execute. And now you can see because the year is not leap year, it had added 6 years to it, and this is the new date. Example program 2. Create a class with a method that accepts a date of birth as a parameter. Print the age in years, months and days on the current date. Now you have to assume each year to be 365 days and each month to be of 30 days. So here we will pass a date as a parameter to the method, and we will calculate the age and print the age in year, months and days, assuming each year to be of 365 days and each month to be of 30 days. Let's create the program. So guys, you can see I have created an age calculator class which is having a calculate method, and to this we are passing a date with a variable name as date of birth. And within the method, we have created a current date in which we are fetching the current date with the help of date.today method. So now we will calculate the number of days between these two dates by calling this days between method with the help of date of birth, which is the parameter, and passing the current date to it. And that will return the number of days which we are holding in an integer type days variable. We are dividing the days by 365, which is going to return us the number of years as quotient of the division. The remaining number of days we will get by dividing again days by 365, but this time for remainder. So the remaining days we are holding in the days variable again. The remaining days we will divide by 30 to calculate the number of month which we are holding in month variable, and then dividing the days by 30 for remainder, which will be the remaining number of days. And then we will print the age as year number of years, month number of months and days number of days. So let's run this program. So we are calling the calculate method of the age calculator class, and we need to pass a date here. So we will pass date dot new instance, And here we will pass the year, month and date. So I am passing 1988, month as February and day as 26. And let's click on execute. And you can see it is printing the age as 34 years, 9 months and 25 days. Now it completely depends on the current date. What is the current date according to which you are calculating the age. And this is not exact age because it is assuming each year to be of 365 days. But don't forget, after every 4 years there will be an year with 366 days. And again it is assuming each month to be of 30 days, but there are some months with 31 days as well as 28 or 29 days in case of February. But it is approximately telling us the correct age. Example program 3. Create a class with a method that accepts 2 integers as parameters. Print all the numbers with their square root and cube root. It should be printing in increasing order. Make sure to display values up to 2 decimal places only. So here we have to create a method that accepts 2 integers as parameters. We will print all the numbers with their square roots and cube roots. We will print the numbers in increasing order, and we will make sure that all the square roots and cube roots should be printed up to 2 decimal places only. So let's create the program. So guys, here is the class for that specific example program. You can see class name is numbers and root, and I have created a display method over here which is accepting 2 integer parameter num1 and num2. First of all, we are trying to find out the minimum and maximum of num1 and num2 by calling the min and max method of math class. We are passing 2 parameters to it, and that's going to return us the min and max value. Now this is simple message over there which will be printed as number, square root and cube root. Now we are running a loop from minimum number to maximum number, which will make sure that it will be printed in increasing order. And within the loop, we are calling the sqrt and cbrt method, which is going to return us the square root and cube root of the loop counter, which will be the number itself. And finally, we are printing the number, the square root and the cube root, and you can see we are calling the set scale method of the decimal, which will make sure that there will be only 2 decimal places. So let's execute this program. So now you can see I am calling the display method with 2 numbers as 40 and 1. So the first number I passed as the bigger number, the second as the smaller one, and let me click on execute. And here you can see the numbers are printing in increasing order, that is from 1 till 40, and it is printing all the square roots and all the cube roots of it up to 2 decimal places only. Example program 4. Create a class that will print numbers between 1 to 9 in random orders. It means the order should be different every time the program is executed. So we have to print numbers from 1 to 9, but it should be in random order. Like first time when we are running the program, it can be like 2, 4, 6, 3, 9. It can be in any order, and every time we will run the program, the order should change. So let's create this program. So guys, here you can see I have created the random nines class with a display method, and when we will call the display method, it's going to execute this and print the random 9 numbers. To store those 9 numbers, I have created a list of integer over here, and then I am running an infinite loop because I don't know in how much time I am going to get that 9 random numbers. Because maybe when I'm calling the random method and calculating the random number, it's going to give me the same number continuously. So that's why I am running the loop for infinite number of times. Now here I am calling the math.random, which is going to return me a decimal or a real random number, which will be between 0.0 to 0.9. Now whatsoever number I will get, I am multiplying it by 10. So in case the random number is giving me number 0.6578 or something. So after multiplying it by 10, I will get 6.5789 or something. And then I'm typecasting it to integer. So that will make sure that the decimal part of it is actually truncated. And I will left with only the integer part in val. Now before adding it to list, I will make sure that the list doesn't contain that number already. So I'm checking it like the numbers dot contain val should not be true. So that's why I'm calling numbers dot contains val, and I'm checking for not over here. So this condition should not be true. And of course I'm making sure that the number is not 0, because in case if I get a random number like 0.065, then multiplying it by 10 will give me 0.65 and typecasting it to integer will give me 0. And I have to get the number between 1 to 9 only. So that's why I am making sure that the number is not 0 itself. So if the list is not containing the new random number and the random number is not 0, then only I will add it to the list. After adding, I will check whether the list size is 9 or not, because I need only 9 numbers. So if the list size will reach to 9, I will break this loop. And after this infinite loop, which will be break once the list get the 9 numbers, I am printing the list itself. So let's run this program and see the output. So now to run this program, I am calling the display method of the random 9s and I am clicking on execute. And you can see it is printing, it is giving me number like 715246839. If I will execute the program one more time, you can see I am getting this time a different series of 1 to 9. So every time you will run the program, you will get different series of numbers from 1 to 9. So guys, that marks the end of this video. See you soon in the next video. Till then, thank you and take care.